What if the war never ended? In this timeline, 1945 changed nothing, and the world remained in constant uncertainty. From above, a once thriving city lies quiet, smoke lingering, while distant flashes remind stability never fully returned to normal. Up close, soldiers endure routines, no longer counting days, only adapting to a reality where peace feels distant and almost unreal. Heavy vehicles move through empty streets, passing buildings that remember when life felt normal and movement carried no tension at all. Above London, the sky stays active, lights scanning clouds, while people below live carefully, where alertness never fades, even for moments. Underground, leaders study shifting maps with no fixed lines, making decisions that maintain balance in a situation without any clear ending. Across front lines, soldiers hold positions, not advancing, not retreating, maintaining control where stability matters more than any form of victory. From the sky, landscapes show history blending with present, where past conflict zones merge into ongoing areas of activity across regions. Below ground, communities adapt, living in controlled spaces, adjusting to life shaped by caution instead of short-term emergency responses daily. Communication becomes essential. Radios stay active, sharing updates, instructions, and reassurance in a world that never fully stabilizes at any time. Seasons pass, yet conditions remain. Winter returns, covering everything, while routines continue unchanged beneath the cold silence across every region. Factories stay active, machines running non-stop, maintaining a system that depends on continuous output just to keep functioning properly each day. Small details remain, objects left behind, quiet reminders of lives interrupted, and a world forced to adapt quickly without preparation beforehand. Transport systems move constantly, carrying supplies and people, adapting to shifting conditions across regions, ensuring operations remain stable and continuous. At sea, movement stays controlled, vessels navigating carefully, maintaining balance in a global system that demands coordination and constant awareness always. Observers document everything, preserving moments that may one day explain how this timeline continued beyond expectations and historical understanding limits. Hands adjust devices, ensuring messages connect, because information becomes one of the most valuable resources in this continuously changing environment. People keep moving, searching for stability, building temporary lives in a world that no longer offers permanent certainty or long-term security. Above, aircraft move regularly, maintaining awareness, ensuring that no sudden changes go unnoticed across wide areas of controlled, monitored airspace zones. Inside command rooms, decisions remain careful, because every action carries long-term consequences in a system that never fully resets itself. Messages from home carry meaning, simple words reminding that life still exists somewhere beyond the situation and current reality being experienced. Historic structures stand quietly unchanged, while the world around them continues moving forward in a completely different direction over extended time. Moments of rest remain brief, as responsibilities return quickly, maintaining a rhythm that never fully pauses across this constantly active world. Every step requires awareness, moving carefully through an environment shaped by long-term uncertainty and continuous adjustment to surrounding conditions always. At sunrise, the same reality appears again, a world moving forward, but never fully reaching peace, only maintaining stability for now.
As years passed, the situation evolved. New technologies appeared, not ending conflict, but helping maintain a world without true stability. Behind protective glass, researchers observed powerful reactions, carefully aware their work could influence global balance in ways never expected before. Maps no longer showed clear borders, only shifting zones of control, reflecting a world that refused to settle into lasting stability. Certain regions became difficult to access, requiring special equipment and planning, as environments slowly changed and demanded new ways of adaptation. The environment itself began changing, gradually at first, then more clearly, showing long-term effects on the world and its natural systems. Monitoring devices became common, tracking conditions continuously, helping people navigate areas that required awareness and careful movement at all times, everywhere. Large banners appeared across cities, delivering clear messages, shaping public understanding, guiding behavior, and reinforcing stability within the system of control. Daily life adapted around limited resources. People waited in lines. Understanding distribution had to remain controlled to maintain balance across communities. Global displays tracked activity constantly, showing movement, changes, and updates, creating awareness where nothing stayed still and everything required attention always. Protective equipment became necessary in certain areas, where basic actions required support, reflecting how conditions had changed over extended periods of time. Massive industrial complexes expanded further, operating without interruption, producing what was needed to maintain stability in a continuously active global system. In remote environments, old equipment remained scattered, slowly blending into landscapes as reminders of earlier phases and long-past events. Individuals relied on support systems to maintain endurance and focus, ensuring they could continue functioning effectively in demanding conditions every single day. Below-ground communities expanded, forming structured environments where people lived, worked, and adapted together, creating a new version of society underground. In colder regions, operations continued despite harsh conditions, showing how adaptation allowed systems to function even in extreme environmental challenges worldwide. Advanced launch systems were developed, representing new levels of capability, carefully controlled and becoming part of maintaining global balance across regions. Confidential files recorded every detail, stored securely, containing information explaining how this system evolved and why decisions were made historically. Major cities reflected long-term changes, adapting to ongoing conditions, while continuing to function in new, structured, and organized ways over time. For some, the situation became normalized, part of daily routines, showing how human behavior adapts gradually to long-term environmental and social change. Symbols once representing stability changed meaning, adapting to a world where everything was redefined by continuous global conditions and system control. Large temporary settlements expanded, housing people from various regions, forming new communities built around cooperation and shared adaptation to conditions. In dense environments, movement required coordination, teams working carefully, adapting to surroundings that demanded awareness, precision, and constant attention always. Leadership communication remained important, guiding people through uncertainty, maintaining structure, and ensuring society continued functioning within the established system. Personal items carried emotional value, small reminders of connection preserved carefully, even as everything else continued changing across time and space. Across vast landscapes, convoys moved steadily, connecting regions, ensuring systems remained active and the world continued functioning without reaching a final resolution.
Decades passed, and the world transformed. Cities rebuilt for control and efficiency, adapting to constant global tension, replacing the idea of peace. Surveillance became part of daily life, devices monitoring movement, ensuring coordination and safety, while reminding everyone awareness was always present everywhere. Screens displayed constant updates, alerts, and information, creating an environment where people stayed informed and adapted to continuous attention requirements. The skies filled with organized movement systems, operating with precision, maintaining structure across regions, ensuring balance and control remained consistent everywhere. Monuments stood tall, representing endurance, reminding people how the world adapted and continued forward within a system built on long-term stability. Education changed, teaching adaptation, resilience,
and understanding the system, preparing future generations for a world already reshaped by ongoing global conditions. Public messages appeared, guiding behavior, shaping perception, reinforcing stability through consistent communication across cities and communities over extended periods. Underground networks expanded, forming connected living spaces where daily life continued in controlled, structured environments, separate from surface conditions above. Natural landscapes were repurposed, transformed into functional zones, supporting operations and infrastructure, reflecting changing priorities across regions worldwide over time. Automation increased efficiency, allowing systems to run continuously, ensuring stability remained without interruption, supporting the structure of this ongoing global environment. Human capabilities evolved, with assistance from advanced systems, improving precision, endurance, and allowing better adaptation to environmental and operational demands everywhere. Environmental changes became visible: waterways, air quality, and land, showing long-term transformation shaped by continuous global activity across decades of time. Inside homes, life continued quietly, families adapting routines, maintaining connection, while the world outside operated under different structured conditions daily. Moments of reflection were rare, but meaningful, reminding individuals their reality was part of a much larger system shaping their existence. Residential areas became inactive, preserved as silent spaces, showing what existed before everything changed over extended periods of time across regions. From above, entire regions appeared darker, transformed, functioning under different conditions, reflecting long-term changes across the global landscape over decades. Some groups operated quietly, moving carefully, maintaining independence, adapting differently from the main system, while still existing within the same world. Signals occasionally disrupted communication, briefly revealing imperfections within the system, hinting not everything was fully controlled or predictable at all times. Barriers divided regions, creating structured boundaries, guiding movement, maintaining order, and ensuring organization across large areas under the system's control. Hidden groups gathered quietly, planning, discussing possibilities, exploring ideas beyond the system, considering alternatives within a world shaped by control. Subtle symbols appeared quietly, expressing thoughts, small signs that not everyone fully accepted the reality they lived within every day. At certain hours, movement slowed, systems adjusted, creating moments of stillness across cities that remained active most of the time. Some spaces handled questioning and evaluation, ensuring alignment, maintaining consistency and structure across all levels of society within the system. Restrictions existed, understood rather than seen, forming part of the structure that maintains stability across regions and communities over extended time. In some areas, automated systems operated fully, running continuously, showing how far the world evolved, where human presence was no longer required.
Deep within restricted archives, a file exists labeled differently, not by date, but marked as erased timeline, suggesting intentional removal. A historian reviews recovered footage, noticing subtle differences from official records, raising questions that cannot easily be ignored or dismissed. Inside an abandoned facility, documents remain scattered, untouched, suggesting work stopped suddenly, leaving information incomplete or intentionally left behind. Old film reels begin playing, showing familiar moments with slight differences, suggesting another version of events may have once existed. A secured vault opens, revealing deeper records, protected carefully, hidden rather than destroyed, suggesting information was preserved but never meant accessed. In a dim room, a figure studies footage repeatedly, analyzing details, comparing timelines, trying to understand if records are errors or truth. Sections of documents appear altered, with missing details, leaving fragments that hint at a larger truth, but never fully explaining anything clearly. Consistent markings cover key information, suggesting edits were deliberate, controlled, and part of a coordinated effort rather than random or accidental. Far from populated areas, a hidden structure exists, isolated,
protected, and connected to patterns found across the altered records discovered earlier. A flickering screen reveals corrupted data aligning into sequences, showing a version where global conflict ended as originally recorded in history. Footage stabilizes briefly, revealing rebuilding, cooperation, and a world transitioning into peace, a reality completely different from the one currently experienced. A damaged library contains similar records, partially intact, telling a consistent story, matching recovered footage, suggesting this timeline once fully existed. A source appears quietly, delivering additional documents, carefully aware this information may not be accepted or allowed to spread widely. A final file opens, revealing a timeline where conflict ended, alliances formed, and global recovery successfully began across nations worldwide. Suddenly, access is lost, systems shut down, as if the information triggered a response, cutting connection before confirmation could be completed. Surveillance records show individuals linked to discovery becoming untraceable, quietly removed from systems without public acknowledgement or official explanation provided. A final piece of footage shows realization, a moment suggesting truth was understood, even if it could not be shared publicly. A chart appears displaying two paths, one leading to recovery, another continuing conflict. Only one timeline remains active and visible. In a closed meeting, shadows move. Decisions are made quietly, determining which information continues to exist and which will disappear permanently. An old recording plays, a message incomplete, yet suggesting someone attempted to preserve truth before losing access to the system. An archive structure collapses, removing physical evidence, whether by time or design, eliminating proof that could support the discovered timeline. One individual escapes, carrying remaining files, attempting to preserve fragments of information before they are completely erased from existence forever. The final document reveals fragments, with one line readable, suggesting current reality may not be the original version of events. The view pulls away, showing a stable world, but now with doubt, questioning if this reality replaced another version that once existed. The screen flickers, displaying this timeline has been removed, not because incorrect, but because it was never meant remembered at all.